You can't force somebody to be proud of you if they're ashamed of you, can you?
No, you can't.
You bet your life you can't. I'm not going to put myself in a position of begging to be admired. Now, I didn't ask to be elected the Father of the Week, and I don't see why I have to accept it. It's not like you're being drafted as the President of the United States or something. Let him get some other father, some father whose kid happens to be proud of him. I've lived this long without being the Father of the Week, and I'm doing fine. Just fine.
My name is Henry Michael Schu, and I have a shitty dad. Pardon my crass language, but there's not many other words that could adequately convey the kind of man I discovered my father to be. I say discovered because for most of my life I was unaware or unwilling to accept the level of negative influence my father had on me. It took a long time to come to terms with the unhealthy subtleties that pervaded our relationship. Subtle. There we have the defining word of my father's abuse. People often don't realize how parental negativity can go largely unnoticed in one's day-to-day. What you're about to hear are the hidden recordings of a typical day living with my father. Try and listen out for how parental abuse can quietly manifest itself in even the most normal of everyday interactions.
Get your ass up and get the hell out of bed right this second, or so help me God, I will strike you down.
Dad, what?
Don't you question me. Don't you dare ask me one more goddamn thing, you bedridden worm spawn motherfucker.
Jesus, Dad, it's 6 a.m.
If one more useless worm sound comes out of your goddamn mouth, you'll be graduating college from a motherfucking hospital gurney. Now haul your miserable tentacle ass the fuck out of bed, or so help me God, you dribbling colander of saturated dog shit.
Dad, will you just fuck off?
You better believe I'll fuck off.
This is a normal morning in my household. My dad bursts in between 5 and 6 a.m. and threatens me with divine retribution. People are rarely at their best in the morning, so I didn't think it was anything strange until recently. When a friend told me this almost never happens with their parents, I started to doubt that my dad was being entirely reasonable. More doubt came to me at the breakfast table.
Just as I fucking thought. Cereal again. One more spoonful towards metric fat-ass diabetes. Isn't that right, Count Tubula?
Jeez, Dad, I can eat cereal if I want to.
You eat what I say you eat, shithead. And I say you eat my goddamn home-brand motherfucking muesli. You understand?
My dad runs a small muesli brand from out of our kitchen. It's not great, but I like to support the family business, even when he's force-feeding it to me down a surgical tube.
That's it, Santa Claus. Gobble up your tube.
That's really good, Dad.
Shut your mouth, Chocahontas, and don't you dare lie to me. You know what happened to your mother when she took a shit in the cavern of lies?
Mom is dead, Dad.
Dead is right. As dead as my love for your fat fucking face. Ring, ring. The pie man called, and he's got an express delivery straight to the walking stick of butter I call my son.
At this point, I knew my father was being ridiculous. The pie man doesn't do express deliveries, and I had a feeling my dad was muddling this fact in an attempt to be deliberately provocative.
Now, unless you've got some buttery-ass objection, I'm getting the fuck out of this house and getting the fuck into my weekly aromatherapy session.
Yeah, I better get going too. It's nearly 9 a.m.
Shut the fuck up.
Just a regular breakfast, right? I used to think so. But lately, I couldn't shake the feeling that my father's table manners left something to be desired. I used to think nothing of leaving the table with tracheal lacerations and shame for the death of my mother, but after researching the habits of almost every other family in the developed world, it became increasingly clear to me that this wasn't very common. After a long day at work, I spent that evening as I generally do most evenings, crouched behind my dad, wearing gloves and scraping clean his anal cavity with a spade. My dad has always had an aversion to toilet paper, the devil's notepad as he calls it. So, as you can imagine, the buildup can get pretty significant. It normally takes about an hour to clear the congealed blockade of hardened fecal scum, sometimes longer, depending on what he's eaten. Between the firm and wriggling thrusts of the spade, I deposit the thick scoops of stringy anal viscera into a small ceramic latrine, which my dad had installed into the living room floor after the carpet became unviable. For years I saw this as nothing more than a kind of father-son bonding ritual, albeit a hygienically necessary one. Hygienic for him at the very least. My long battles with ringworms and dysentery from interacting with large quantities of my father's septic posterior discharge were starting to take their toll. Frankly, I needed a break. And spurred on by recent doubts about the healthiness of my dad's behavior, tonight was the night I was going to bring it up.
Oh yeah, right there. Spade me up, motherfucker.
So, Dad?
Shave those ass crackers. Yes.
Dad.
What the hell are those words doing crapping out of your mouth, boy?
I wanted to talk to you about something. I was wondering if
How
maybe...
goddamn dare you!
Well, I thought that maybe you could...
Goddamn dare you interrupt the ceremonial whittling of my ass!
I was just thinking maybe I could take the next night off and,
Give
have
me
some time.
one goddamn reason why I shouldn't split your insubordinate pixie ass crack open with a motherfucking cleaver, you jiggling tidal wave of human garbage.
That was the moment when it hit me. It might have seemed like an innocent thing on the surface, but what my dad had just said to me was uncalled for. It was rude. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't going to stand for it. Dad, I don't need to do this. I am a grown man.
Don't you dare disgrace my manhood with horse shit like that. You're not a man. You're not even a boy. You know what you are? You're a deer. I've seen you out there, running around with all the other deer.
They're my friends, Dad. They have as much right to the forest as we do.
I've heard enough, cockmongrel. Enough of your shit and enough of your dear excuses. Now, if you want to keep your teeth inside your skull, then you get down on your knees right this second and pick my nose.
Fathers and nose picking. We've all heard that one before, right? I know I have. Many times over the years. And now, at the height of the argument, he tries to fall back on that time-honored cliché. Before, I might have fallen for this. Fallen for that all-too-common belief in modern society that fingering your dad up the nose makes it all better. But it doesn't. In fact, it turns out that repeated nose-picking by yourself or another party can cause bleeding and sinus irritation. We're all on a learning journey here today. And my dad was going to be the first casualty. No, Dad. Not this time. I'm not gonna pick your nose anymore.
What? What did you say? Is that the putrid stench of insubordination I smell? Do I have to fumigate your rebel stench, boy?
I said no, Dad.
No. No?
No.
You dare defy my sacred power?
I'd rather you treated me with a little more respect, Dad.
Respect?
I started to feel a little weird. There was this chill on the back of my neck. I didn't quite know what it was, but if I had to guess, It seemed a lot like the immaterial specters of hell were being summoned to breach the mortal realm. Dad? Are you... okay?
Okay? Do you mock me with your human concern?
Dad?
Defiance, thy name is son. I am Dad, harbinger of your very birth. You will submit your spirit to me, or be damned to the flames of oblivion.
I told you, Dad, no.
Keeper of the flame, grant me the strength to vanquish mine enemy changeling.
Look, I've had enough. I'm gonna go to bed, Dad.
Dear child,
I can't speak for all fathers here, but I was getting the sneaking suspicion that my dad may have been a demonic entity from a plane beyond our understanding. It certainly would explain the luminescent vortex that had begun to fill the room and consume my dad's physical form. I'll see you later? Baal Zagarathra. That was my dad's true name, as I later found out. It seems that by finally defying his authority, I sapped him of his power and returned him to the void. It took some research in my local library and a lot of late nights and coffee, but I managed to track down my dad's proper birth certificate. Dad was just an identity he took after assuming human form and marrying my mother. I guess there's always things we never know about our parents. But despite everything that happened, despite accepting that my father had been abusive towards me, I still don't hate him. Sure, he was a being descended from a netherworld of pure evil, but he was still my dad, and that will never change. I made this documentary piece as a cautionary tale to anyone who might not realize the subtle abuse that can manifest within their own family. I accept that my dad being a demon is probably a one-off, but nonetheless, I think it's valuable that people pay attention to the signs of interdimensional subterfuge. The fires of hell are burning. Your dad, your mother, your infant son could be designed by dark powers beyond our comprehension to kill us all. Stay safe. Be aware. My name is Henry Michael Schu, and that was my life under the heel of my shitty dad. Thank you for listening.
Daddy?
What?
Did you bring me anything?
Yeah, I did. I brought you a hug. Oh.
Is that all?
Well, what else would you like?
A kiss.
Okay.
Yay!
Come on, pal, let's go out to recess.